Well, the 6 D.C. police staffers accused of cheating taxpayers out of nearly $500,000 in overtime pay, they were in court today.
Yeah, we got some new details about what each of them reported on their timesheets. Randy Hildreth has the list.
The allegations in these documents are pretty shocking. One MPD staff member allegedly racked up overtime while traveling. There are at least 5 trips listed in his arrest document where he allegedly hopped on a plane but still clocked in at work. New charging documents break down how an overtime fraud scheme in MPD's 5th District may have unfolded. Those charged include former Sergeant Franz Fulcher, former Officer Bernadette Richardson, former Lieutenant Peter Sheldon, Officer Thomas Kremenick, Officer Dory Smith-Cleary, and civilian Johnny Dyer. Court records show Richardson and Smith-Cleary worked as time and attendance clerks in charge of processing overtime submissions. And Kremenick, Fulcher, and Sheldon worked as administrative law enforcement officials that helped review or were familiar with overtime practices. Investigators wrote in Fulcher's affidavit, quote, "The defendant possessed familiarity with and access to the overtime submission process, which facilitated the submission and approval of false overtime claims." The 6 are accused of clocking more than 5,600 hours in overtime pay they didn't actually work and allegedly racked up more than $440,000 in overtime pay. The most egregious allegations are against Fulcher. Investigators accuse him of getting the most in false overtime pay and clocking overtime hours while he traveled to places like Mexico, London, and Orlando. Court documents show the accused often coded the extra hours as backfill, which meant they were working patrol longer to help with police staffing shortages. Documents show Dyer was a civilian and worked on the department's vehicle fleet, but allegedly still used the overtime code to get extra money, even though he's not an officer. In court Wednesday, a judge released the 6 from jail as they await their next court date. An attorney for one of the suspects saying,
regardless of the U.S. Attorney's Office's lengthy press release, we'll wait for our day in court and we'll address the facts then.
Randy Hildreth, WUSA 9.